White yesterday announced 3 big-time fights for next year in the beginning of 2024. In January, we're going to be getting Driscus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland for the middleweight championship. In February, we're getting Alexander Volkanovski versus Illia Topuria for the featherweight championship. And then we got Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera for the bantamweight championship. I'm going to talk about every single one of these fights, my first initial thoughts. I'm not going to give a prediction just yet because this is really early. These fights just got announced yesterday by Dana White. But I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on each and every single one of them. I'm going to leave timestamps for every single one of these fights. So if you want to go ahead and skip ahead, go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead and start off with the January fight. Sean Strickland versus Driscus du Plessis. The fight that I'm actually the most excited for. I think this is the most intriguing fight because it's a clash of different styles. Obviously, we have Sean Strickland, who is the new middleweight champion of the world, who, to me, right now is probably the best defensive striker in the UFC, especially how we saw him in his last fight against Israel Adesanya, where he barely got hit in that fight and did fantastic. You know, his striking is not like, I wouldn't say it's elite, but his defense, his striking defense is elite. And Driscus du Plessis, obviously, very unorthodox as a fighter, in my opinion. You know, who everybody thought was going to lose to Robert Whittaker, dominated Robert Whittaker like nobody else has done in Robert Whittaker's career. I mean, the only person that we've seen that dominated Robert Whittaker was Israel Adesanya. Every other person other than Israel Adesanya has lost and got pretty much destroyed by Robert Whittaker. But Driscus, I never not to, doubt Driscus ever again in my life, because every time I feel like Driscus is gonna lose a fight, he just goes and proves me wrong, and he wins in very dominant fashion. Especially his Robert Whittaker, his fight against Robert Whittaker, he looked fantastic in that fight. This fight is definitely too close to predict, in my opinion. I definitely have to look back at some tape of the two guys before I make a prediction. Right now, if I had to say, I will probably say Sean Strickland, but I have to go back and look at some footage of both guys, because I definitely got to rewatch that Driscus versus Robert Whittaker. I got to see how Driscus looked on the feet, because it's going to be really tough for Driscus to try and hit and connect on Sean Strickland, who was one of the most defensively sound strikers in all of the UFC. I mean, he is fantastic when it comes to his defense. And somebody like a Driscus du Plessis, where his striking is not the greatest, but it just seems like he finds a way to make shit work, even if it's sloppy and it's disgusting to watch. You know what I mean? Because even though Driscus might not look the most appealing, he's not the most appealing fighter to watch, he somehow makes it work. And I feel like the way how he is so unorthodox, he just makes shit work. And I can definitely see him win this fight, and I can see him get a finish on Sean Strickland. But for now, I'm going to go with Sean for now, but I have to look more into this fight. But this is, to me, my most intriguing fight. Out of the 3 fights I got announced, this is the most intriguing for me, because it is, I think, the toughest to predict. I mean, all these fights are really tough, in my opinion, but I think this one is definitely too close to predict right now. You got to go back and look at some more footage before you make a prediction, but very exciting to start off the year with this fight. Let's go into the next fight, which is Volkanovski versus Illia Topuria. I am frightened, absolutely frightened for Alexander Volkanovski. This is a quick turnaround after his knockout loss against Islam Makhachev. I wish that he would have fought in March. I know that he wants to be active and he wants to fight as soon as possible. I mean, for God's sake, he wanted to fight in January. For the love of God, thank God they gave him an extra month just to kind of recuperate after that knockout loss. But man, still, February is not that far from here. I mean, that's in a few months. And literally, just a few weeks ago, he got knocked out by Islam Makhachev. I am hoping that Alex will be ready by then, and he is recuperated and he is fine for his fight, because Illia Topuria is an animal. Illia Topuria hits very fucking hard. And there's anybody that can put out Alexander Volkanovski in the featherweight division, it is 100% Illia Topuria 100%. I am still leaning towards Volkanovski because he is the better all-around fighter. I think that he's going to use his grappling, and he should utilize his grappling in this fight against Illia Topuria, because I believe that he'll be able to take him down and be able to dominate him. But man, this is a very scary fight. Very, very scary fight. And I'm frightened for Alexander Volkanovski. I don't know if he should make... Man, I wish that we would have got this fight in March. I know that he wants to be active and he wants to fight as soon as possible because the inactivity has been weighing on his mental health. But my God, you just got knocked out. You got, head kicked, KO'd by Islam Makhachev. You need some rest. You need some time to recuperate. And I wish that they would swap this fight and Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera, because in my opinion, Sean O'Malley and Chito, they're more ready to fight than Alexander Volkanovski is. Alexander Volkanovski literally just fought in October last month and got a knockout loss. Sean O'Malley's coming off a victory. Same thing with Chito Vera, and Chito Vera's made of fucking metal. He never gets hurt. So he's ready. He's pretty much ready for the end of the year. If they wanted him to fight in December, he could have fought in December. Shit. I mean, this man is made out of fucking titanium fucking steel. But with Volkanovski just suffered a knockout loss. I believe the first knockout loss in his UFC career. So it is going to be very tough for Volk to recuperate and be ready by February. But I'm still picking him to win. But I really hope that he doesn't get knocked out, man. I really hope. I mean, obviously, I'm rooting for him to win. And I do believe he's going to win. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if Topuria gets the job done and he wins in February. I'm really, really frightened for Alexander Volkanovski. I really do hope that Volk can get the job done. But we'll see what happens. February, yes, I mean, at least it's not in January, right? Because January is literally right around the corner. I mean, my goodness. Thank God that fight was not made for January. And then in March, we got Marlon Chito Vera versus Sean O'Malley. Obviously, Marlon Vera is not the rightful contender to Sean O'Malley. He beat a guy who was barely top 10 in the division, and he lost to Corey Sandhagen just last year. In the past, I mean, I believe that fight was in March, and he lost to him. It makes no sense why, in my opinion, that Marlon Vera is getting this fight. But the reason why he's getting this fight is because there's actually a little bit of beef between these two. Because back in 2020, a fraudulent win by Marlon Vera, he gave Sean O'Malley the first loss of his career. Even though to me it was a tad bit fraudulent, in my opinion. I know the Marlon Vera fans are going to be mad at me for that one, but I mean, it is true. I mean, it was a kick that kicked his perennial nerve, and I mean, Sean O'Malley can only fight on one leg. We're going to see. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that Marlon Vera can win this fight. He could. Marlon Vera is one of the most durable guys, probably the most durable guy in all of the UFC. And Sean O'Malley has to be, very, very conservative on the way he fights. Obviously, I think that O'Malley can win by points, and I think that's how he's going to get the job done if he does win this fight. Because in my opinion, I don't think he's going to knock out Chito Vera. I don't think he's going to knock out Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera is probably the most durable guy in all the sport. There's no way that I don't see him knocking out Marlon Vera. Now, could I see Marlon Vera knock out Sean O'Malley? Absolutely. Marlon Vera, one thing about Marlon Vera, even though I think he's a tad bit fraudulent, this man always finds a way to get the job done and get a knockout out of nowhere when he's down. I mean, he was down to Dominic Cruz. What happened? He knocked him out with a head kick. Same thing against him and Frankie Edgar. He was down 2-0, knocks him out with a front kick. I mean, he gets the job done. And there's so many moments. I mean, there's 25 minutes of time for Marlon Vera to land something. Because it seems like Marlon Vera just has this insane knockout power. And he can put out anybody, it seems like. So Sean O'Malley has to be very cautious in this fight. So we'll see what happens. That fight is definitely very intriguing. I think Sean O'Malley right now, I'm picking him. It's an early prediction, obviously. Got to look at more tape. But I'm picking Sean O'Malley to win by unanimous decision. I think that he will be able to win more rounds, like maybe a 49-46 or a 48-47. I think I'm leaning towards 49-46. He just can't get caught by Marlon Vera. And we haven't seen Sean O'Malley. Here's the thing. We haven't seen Sean O'Malley in a 5-round fight go the full distance. We saw him obviously in a 5-round fight. He just fought for the title against Aljamain Sterling, but he got the knockout in the second round. You know, I don't think he's going to get a knockout in the second round. If he's going to get a knockout, it's probably going to be later on when he's just peppering, you know, Marlon Vera with these shots. But I still even don't think that he's going to knock him out. I think that Marlon Vera is going to survive. I think Marlon Vera is going to go to a decision if O'Malley wins. And I think if anybody's going to get the knockout, it's going to be Chito. I know, that is insane. That is insane to say. But he has 25 minutes to land that shot. You can't tell me that Marlon can't land that shot. I think he could. Even though to me, I do believe that Sean O'Malley is the better striker. But when it comes to power, I think that Marlon Vera has that scary power where he can just put anybody out with that one shot. And that's what he did against Dominic Cruz. That's what he did against Frankie Edgar. He's putting these guys out. So we have to see. Not saying that Sean O'Malley's not durable, but man, he hasn't been tested like this with a guy like this. Obviously, I mean, he did fight him, but I mean, we didn't get to see the full thing because, I mean, it was, in my opinion, one of the most fraudulent wins in the history of the sport. In my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to be very upset about that statement, but I mean, Sean O'Malley was literally on one leg. It's obvious that he was going to finish, that Marlon Vera was going to finish him. I mean, literally had one fucking leg. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that Sean O'Malley gets the victory because I'm not a big Chito Vera guy. I think that he's massively overrated. In my opinion, I think that he is like not as good as what people think he is. In my opinion, but listen, I could be wrong. Look, he could be the champion. I could be saying all this shit about Marlon Vera, but then he could be the champion of the sport. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. That is all the fights right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't get upset at me about my Marlon Vera take. Listen, I know it's just an opinion. You might think that Sean O'Malley's overrated. And listen, if you think that, that's fine. I don't really give a shit. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys soon with another video. Peace out.